Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm still rehabbing my broken ankle, so sorry for the delay on this video. I've been thinking about doing this one for a while, but for whatever reason, I just now got around to it. So today's video is what I consider kind of a hood classic from 1992. So let's talk about South Central.
What's up, Deuce? Deuce! Get your ass down here, man.
Released in 1992, South Central was directed by Stephen Milburn Anderson and executive produced by Oliver Stone. It was based on a 1987 novel called The Original South Central LA Crips. The film starts off with our protagonist, Bobby Johnson, being released from jail. His crew comes to pick him up, beers in hand, and just ready to have a good time since their boy's back on the street. When Bobby gets home, he realizes his girlfriend has been hanging around with this dude upstairs, known as the Kansas City Smack Man. He's like a pimp and a hustler and a drug dealer, and he's got some beef with the Deuce. Deuce is the local gang in the area that Bobby and his boy Ray Ray helped to start. There's some obvious tension between them.
This is my hood. We'll take it up at another time, Ray. Count on it, Smack Man.
And apparently Kansas City Smack Man has been doing some favors for Bobby's girlfriend while he's been locked up. Bobby also has a baby son who he just found out the name of. His girl refused to visit while he was locked up. His son's name is Jimmy, and even though Bobby is fresh out, he's still deep into the gang life, and him and Ray Ray want to expand Deuce. Well, after some trouble, Bobby and the boys kill Kansas City Smack Man.
Do it!
This lands Bobby in prison. Fast forward, now it's 10 years later. And his son, Jimmy, well, he's following his dad's footsteps. His mother ain't shit, so the gang is his real family. Ray Ray now has Jimmy stealing car stereos for him so that he can officially become part of the gang. Meanwhile, Bobby's in prison, still representing Deuce. He runs into some trouble with some Aryans, and this leads to a conflict between him, the Aryans, and Deuce. Bobby finds out that Ray Ray's been using his son to steal car stereos and getting him in trouble.
Yo, Ray got your boy out there stealing stereo.
This makes Bobby question if he still wants to remain part of Deuce. Eventually, his fellow gang members turn on him in prison, and he's kind of left on his own. He gets into a fight in the cafeteria, ends up in segregation, and afterwards, he's given a new cellmate, Ali. Ali is played by Carl Lumbly. And if you don't know who he is, check his IMDb. He's been in a ton of stuff. Ali helps Bobby realize that there's more to life than being a gangbanger. He also pays off Bobby's debt, and he eventually gets Bobby to change the way he thinks. He helps Bobby become a better person. By this point, Bobby just wants to get back home and protect his son and have a life with his son, something he never had growing up. Ali helps him get ready for another parole hearing, and this time he's actually given parole. But before getting on parole, Bobby found out that his son Jimmy was shot in the back when he was trying to boost someone's car stereo. At that point, Bobby had decided no more of this gang life. And as soon as he gets out, he wants to make sure his son is no longer involved in it. His son barely made it through that incident, spent a whole lot of time in the hospital rehabbing, and befriended a nurse who was almost like a mother to him. He's eventually taken by the state and put in a detention center. So once Bobby gets paroled, he goes home, talks to his sorry-ass girlfriend, and finds out that Jimmy's in a detention center. He goes to visit him and realizes that little Jimmy is still too deep in the trenches.
I've put all that gangbanging stuff behind me, and I want you to do the same.
No way, man. You crazy. You ain't my daddy. You ain't Bobby Johnson. Who are you?
Later on that night, Jimmy actually escapes the detention center, and cops come looking for him. Bobby's now on a mission to try to find Jimmy before he takes revenge on the guy that shot him. He finds out where he is, and guess what? He's with Ray Ray. Ray Ray's kidnapped the guy that shot Jimmy in the back, and he wants Jimmy to take the revenge on him. Bobby intervenes, gives a passionate speech, and eventually Ray Ray lets Jimmy go with his dad. That's the basic breakdown of the film. But I want to talk about why I still love this movie. So South Central came out in 92, so I must have seen it in 93. I would have been about 15 years old. And it came out right around that time where, gangster rap was kind of at its pinnacle. Recent movies like Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood had come out. So this was This was kind of like all the rage at the time. I was living in Virginia, as far away from California as possible. I didn't know anyone from South Central. I only knew what I saw on TV and in music videos. Back in the day, I used to think that some of the acting here was a bit much. Like Little Jimmy, I was like, man, no kids actually act like that. But I was wrong. Because years later, when I was working with teens, even though Jimmy's only 10 in this movie, I was working with teens, and I actually worked with quite a lot of teens that were just like him, like literally just like him. They had a way, like they hadn't been brought up right, honestly. Most of them had parents just like Jimmy's mom in this movie. But like you could teach them something new, and then you remember, like these are just kids. The kid side of them will come out as long as you interacted with them, gave them some structure, showed them respect, and kind of put them in a situation where they had to show you respect. You really get to understand that some of these kids, even though they had committed some pretty bad crimes, like they were still kids. And I know that's kind of hard to say from people on the outside, but just working with youth for so many years, I really understand why there are people out there who are like, look, these are just kids. Because when you actually work with them, you sit down with them, when you're living with them for hours a day, you realize that, yeah, these really are just kids. They aren't developed yet. They don't make good decisions. So yeah, Jimmy's portrayal back then kind of annoyed me, but now I like, nah, it's fairly accurate. You know, it's not like the kid was the best actor in the world, but his portrayal was kind of accurate. And of course, you know, back then we all knew OG Bobby Johnson. I'm not sure when this movie actually hit cable, but it had to be in like 1993 or the end of 1992. If you're telling somebody about this movie and you're not sure if they've seen it, they'll say like, hey man, you remember that movie with OG Bobby Johnson? And like everyone will remember it. The storyline itself is pretty basic, but it doesn't have to be much more than that. It's really a revenge story and a story of redemption and a man trying to get his son off the streets. So not a lot to understand there. The movie's like the perfect length. It's about 1 hour and 35 minutes long. It doesn't drag in any portion, honestly, and that's one of the really good things about it. There's maybe one or two annoying characters. Loco's kind of annoying.
Since then, I've been committing some robbery with Iron Baby.
Wait a minute.
I know he's a drug addict and he's all messed up, but he's still, I don't know, for whatever reason, he's always been kind of annoying, even though it's kind of funny in a couple parts. One of the Aryan dudes, though, he's definitely the worst actor in this movie. Like, just check this out. I always like how the movie focused on Bobby's story, from him getting out of jail at the beginning, getting in trouble again, and then 10 years later trying to get his son off the streets so he doesn't repeat the same cycle. And one other thing, I actually had forgotten how important the character of Willie Manchester is in this movie. He's the guy that shot Jimmy in the back with a shotgun when he was about to make sweet love to his wife. I did not remember that his name was brought up so many times by different characters in this movie. Like, I was just recently rewatching, I was like, geez, I just remember the guy shooting him. I don't even remember him coming back at the end and being kidnapped. But yeah, of course, he gets kidnapped at the end, and he's used as a tool for Jimmy and OG Bobby Johnson to kind of reconcile and close out the film. The film doesn't end with like Bobby taking revenge on Ray Ray or anything like that. It ends when Bobby reunites with Jimmy and they walk out of the warehouse, and that's the end of the movie. And of course, I got to give a big shout out to Glenn Plummer. He plays Bobby Johnson, and he does a really, really good job in this role. If you don't remember anyone else, you definitely remember his face in this film. And the fact that he plays multiple versions of himself, basically, like the youth, the crazy young guy getting out of jail, killing the Kansas City smack man, being in prison, changing his ways, being a different person when he gets out. He goes through a pretty decent arc in the film. So let me ask you this question. Do y'all remember South Central? It seems like one of those movies that kind of gets lost in the shuffle of all these other movies that came out around that time, and you don't hear people talk about it a whole lot. So I'm just wondering, do y'all remember it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Have you never even heard of it? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, hit the like button, share it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back real soon. Thanks for watching.
We all know Bobby here, a man. He a man. So nobody punking nobody here. Am I right, Buddha?
Oh, motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread, that's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now.